From live music to street murals like this one, there's a lot to see. Today we'll be taking you through some of these places and showcasing some of Denton's local artists. Armadillo Ale Works can't serve you beer yet, but you can come on in and join them for a cup of coffee. Thanks for watching. I'm Cami Farrell on NTTV. UNT star wide receiver Jalen Darden is headed to the NFL. NTTV's Zach Fox has a story. Children in religious education classes at Kolami walked out here yesterday morning to play on the playground. In this week's Your Health segment, we called over 20 businesses near or on the Denton Square to learn how they are responding to Governor Abbott's new executive order. Under this executive order, the mask mandate for the state of Texas will be lifted. In Travis County tonight, we are seeing Bernie at about 38% and Warren at 25%. This is different from all the other counties we've been looking at tonight because in most other races, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden are neck and neck. Each year we hear about the giving season, but at First Refuge Ministries, that season hasn't ended. And that number isn't expected to stop increasing anytime soon. Denton has been vaccinating since late December, but in the past month alone, Denton County gave 150,000 vaccines. Thanks for watching NTTV News at noon. Join us again here tomorrow on North Texas Television. Alexis Hawkins is one of the 5,000 freshman students that walked onto campus last semester. She juggles a full schedule with work and school. Hawkins lived with mental illness before college, but found that college presented new challenges for her.
I had times where I call my mom, bursting into tears about how I can't handle it and I can't do this.
During finals last semester, she felt the need to reach out for help.
I did it last semester where I tried to sign up for counseling and therapy sessions and they were full. So, I mean, it's kind of hard.
The Journal of Abnormal Psychology published a study on nearly 14,000 freshman students in 9 countries. It found that depression and anxiety are the most common mental illnesses that students may suffer from. This academic year, UNT has the largest freshman class in the university's history. But if you are feeling like you are in need of help, UNT Associate Director for Residence Life, Tomas Sanchez, shares other options for UNT students.
Counseling and testing services is sometimes unable to meet with students in a timely manner that they would like. And so there's a couple of other places on campus that sometimes either they will refer students to or will refer students to.
Other resources include the Psychology Clinic, Counseling and Human Development Center, and the SURE Center for Addiction Issues. Denton County MHMR has a 24/7 crisis line. If you are in an emergency, remember, call 911. You are not alone, and your life is important. For NTTV News, I'm Cami Farrell. Kathy Earhart starts her days by baking biscuits, scrambling eggs, and chatting with her daughter Emma. But depending on the time of day, Kathy responds to several different titles, including mom, small business owner, and UNT student. At 40, Kathy is graduating from UNT this May as a first-generation college student, alongside Emma, who is 17.
I did not graduate high school. I quit my senior year, and so going back to college, at 37 years old, it had been 20 years since I had been in school, was intimidating. It was hard. The technology was hard, learning that all the apps we use, learning to use a book online, not a print book when you're used to a print book, doing homework online. That was really challenging for me.
And these obstacles were amplified during the coronavirus pandemic. According to surveys at several universities, first-generation students are more likely to care for children, have a challenging study environment, and have concerns about money during the pandemic than their peers.
It's also been difficult going online because I do have kids, and so now I'm homeschooling 2 kids plus my school. And whereas when you go to campus, you have built-in time where you can learn at home. My child can walk in during a lecture at any given time or need me, and I have to respond to them.
But Kathy considers herself to be lucky. She has a strong community through her organizations and her daughter. Emma has attended all the same classes with her for the past 4 years.
It's like having a best friend in all of your classes. We get to study together and we get to help each other. We complement each other really well, I think.
A typical day of schoolwork usually consists of watching lectures in Emma's room on their laptops and, of course, with their lapdog. And this routine has just less than a month left. While graduation plans might be smaller and less traditional because of COVID, they are proud of their hard work.
What has been, I guess, your favorite memory together going on this journey together?
Oh, gosh.
I think my favorite memory will be us graduating together, but you know, every day was a good day.
And Kathy isn't worried about a pandemic graduation because she says it won't be her last. Kathy and Emma plan to take their MCATs next year. In Denton, for NTTV News, I'm Cami Farrell. 2 years ago, a citizen committee was created to decide whether or not to move the monument. The committee was formed after protests to keep a Confederate monument in Charlottesville, Virginia, turned violent. In August of 2017, a Unite the Right protest caused the death of 32-year-old Heather Heyer and injured dozens of counter-protesters. Denton's committee decided not to move the monument, including committee member Willie Hudspeth, who had suggested moving the monument for almost 20 years. The Katie Daffin chapter of the United Daughters of the Confederacy dedicated the monument in the square in 1918. At that time, Denton saw an increase in Klan membership and was enforcing Jim Crow laws. This year, a new committee is accepting suggestions for art to contextualize the monument. The committee has already held 3 of 4 public meetings. Most participants are asking the committee to move the monument. Commissioner Bobby Mitchell says they do not plan to move it.
Whether you move that statue or let it stay, I don't think that's going to stop the hate groups and all the hate crimes. And if I thought it would stop it, I'd be out there tearing it down with my hands.
Mitchell also says they have received a small number of suggestions for context.
For a historian, context matters in any situation, right? We're always, when we're trying to determine the significance of an event or a person or whatever the case is, we're trying to reconstruct the world in which that person lived.
Robert Harden is a Denton resident.
Contextualization, I think that's just a nice way to put normalization. You know, trying to make this, bring the statute into a more contemporary context or interpretation, and I think that's just wrong.
At the last Denton Art Committee meeting, I spoke with a Denton resident that has been trying to contextualize this Confederate monument. She began by publishing names of KKK members during the 20th century in Denton. Since then, she's began to receive threats. Because of this, she fears context is not enough. For NT Daily News, I'm Cami Farrell, Denton.